Hello and welcome to the Antisocial Chat Show. I am Eleanor Gould, Chief Copywriter and Undomestic Goddess at Creative Copywriting, and here is my co-host.
I'm Tara Tamiko, Digital Marketing Consultant, also known as the App Queen, and to be clear, that would be iPhone App Queen. Thank you, Eleanor.
Thank you. So today, Tara, these are completely unscripted, and so really what I'd like to talk to you about is some of the buzzwords that we see going around businesses. I mean, we all know about, when people say, I'll circle back to you and things like that. I always think, please don't circle back. It sounds like you're going to have an accident or something. So what are the buzzwords that kind of peeve you? Not so much probably, the ones we know of, but are there any particular things that, irk you or make you question, use a bit of critical thought?
I just sometimes think they're a bit weird, a bit strange sounding. I know from the corporate world there are lots, for example, ramp up. That just sounds sexual to me. But they say that. And I remember writing a blog post and doing an infographic on this as well. And it was kind of very tongue-in-cheek because I've been known to say some things that people find really irritating, like chicken dinner winner. Love that. But in terms of business, I think the problem is we're seeing so much information, and when you're seeing the same thing over and over again, it gets a bit tiresome. So things like reach out, it just makes me think of reach out. It just makes me want to break out into song. Oh, you mean contact the person? Oh, okay. Those things are just a little bit weird for me.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, in our kind of online world, we see the same thing over and over and over again, right? It's almost like people are running out of vocabulary.
I know.
Which ones bother you?
Well, kind of a lot. Mainly, things bother me when I don't understand what they mean or can have double meanings. But more I'm seeing, especially more on Facebook, I see a lot of people label themselves with things. For example, one I see a lot is Imposter Syndrome. I know
I've had that.
I know that's not a buzzword, but it does. It's something that when I see it kind of flags up to me, because, as you know, Imposter Syndrome is, when you feel that you're a fake or you shouldn't be here. Usually, overachievers, people who work too much, people get overwhelmed. And it kind of worries me, not because I'm not, it's a very real syndrome and it's not a very nice thing to have, but sometimes, isn't it just because we're feeling a bit doubtful of ourselves? Do we have to label ourselves with a syndrome? I think that's quite a dangerous thing to do.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because people who know me, they know that I love labels. And I know this might sound really strange, but for me, it helps me to make sense of what I'm doing at the moment in the time. So, for example, even my title, Digital Marketing Consultant, I went through a whole host of different sort of titles. And really, titles don't matter, but it helps, I guess, in a way, it helps people kind of define something in that moment. And, given that I'm part of the LGBT community, we talk a lot about how labels are for clothes, labels are for boxes. But when it comes to some things online, especially when you're trying to get to grips with something, having a label can sometimes be helpful. So having said that, we're talking specifically about imposter syndrome here. Sometimes I wonder, from some of the things that I see, if the experts, the so-called experts, or the people that want to coach entrepreneurs are using that to make people feel inadequate. Because I've seen that kind of, are you suffering from imposter syndrome? What you need is 10 coach calls or whatever. And it's just probably easy to say, oh my God, that is so me. But aren't we all the same? Don't we all work in a way that sometimes we say, oh, I could have done it differently, or maybe I should have done it better? I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, Tara. I'm not saying that it's not very real, and mental illnesses are, well, if that is a mental illness, but these things we go through are very real. But I just worry about us labeling ourselves. I mean, I see a lot online, people especially social media with selfies and, you know, this kind of smiling depression that people have, which is a very real thing, you know, on their outside on their social media profiles, showing their lives, you know, they're having this wonderful life, you know, 8 figures, 9 figures, 10 figures, whatever figures they want. And, you know, they've got the perfect partner, the perfect life and Lamborghini or whatever. And a lot of people, their lives just simply aren't like that. And that's another thing that concerns me as well. So it's the overall language we're using on the internet. Maybe we need to really think about what we're actually saying and what we're actually putting out there.
You know what I think, though? When you say that, I think that the whole medium, in terms of the internet, that's just the way it kind of works. I think like people are using the internet as a way of making money, you know, running a business. They're not going to go, oh, I might be, you know, doing something that's not right here. I don't think in general people think like that. They're just looking ways to make money. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but the imposters are probably those that are pretending that they've got a Lamborghini. Because my thing is, if you've got a Lamborghini and you're making these 10 figures, what the heck are you doing on Facebook?
Like, that's very true.
Asking me to join your Facebook group. Why? You don't need me. You've got it made.
Or even on Facebook. Who cares? That's very true.
I wouldn't be on there. If I make 10 figures, you guys won't be seeing me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to post my Lamborghini or whatever. In fact, I don't even want a Lamborghini. Well, I do if anybody's got one. I'll take it off you. You know what I mean? It's probably not what I'd spend my money on. But anyway, moving swiftly on to some tech stuff that's coming up. SSL certificates.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. One? I'm not saying. I'm not going to say.
Everybody has got one because it's free. And it was interesting because before having an SL certificate was free, like people are like, oh, should I get one? Should I not get one? Well, you know, and maybe we should say an SSL certificate is a way of securing your site. So everyone, when you go to a website, you should see the green padlock and the word secure followed by HTTPS and then the address. And this has been a big thing. I've been talking about it a lot lately. It's been a big thing for Google because they're going to make sure that people see this site is not secure. I think it's from October 15th. So people need to get their site secure. What's the problem? The problem isn't getting the free certificate. The problem is, actually, maybe even the problem isn't installing it on the website, because my problem was making sure that all the content on my website was safely kind of switched over, because it's a little bit complicated. It doesn't have to be, but it was a bit for me. But I think it's important for everyone to have one, because I think even Facebook, you know, if you're running Facebook ads and things like that, wherever you're pointing towards has to be secure, which is one of the reasons why I've not been too keen on ClickFunnels, by the way. Not wanting to name a name, but I was just did. But I did. But and even another funnel called Builder All, they don't have secure sites, and I just think, well, these are huge companies. They should have a secure site.
Yeah, but don't you think this is another thing that's come out? Because the sites were probably always, you know, HTTP that most people are. I mean, what's the difference between that and HTTPS?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Could you repeat that? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the difference is that you are going to get. Let's start from the beginning. The difference is if you fill anything out on a site, it has to be secure, because the moment I type in Tara Tomiko and my credit card, it's just open for attackers to steal. So it's pretty much the same as just leaving your door open to your house. Somebody might come by during the day and steal all your, you know, oh my gosh, yeah, they might just totally go in and just like rampage through it, or they might not. But whereas if you've got the door locked, then, you know.
So really it's more relevant to e-commerce sites where you're dropping the credit card details, that kind of thing?
Well, no, because...
If you just had a blog, what's the problem?
The problem is if you have a blog and you have no forms or no input fields, then there's no problem. Okay. But even having a search, for example, we're talking about, there's two things here, right? We're talking about what Google are going to do and then what happens on your site. If you're not interested in having traffic being on the first page or even the second page, he wants to be on the second page, but being on the first page, then it doesn't matter. But if you even have a search bar or, like a contact form,
yeah,
that's when Google are going to look at whether your site is secure.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I did actually see a really good blog post about it this morning by Amanda Webb of spiderworking.com. She's doing these tech moments called tech, which is what I think when I look at. Yeah, no, really good. They kind of go across, go through all these things that are techy for me, people like me anyway, and explain them quite well. So that's a good one to look out for. So that's what we.
Sorry, one moment. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'd definitely recommend people looking up her website as well.
Right.
And so Tara, I want to ask you for a quick fire round, because I know we're running out of time. What's your best app this week? Best app you've seen this week? I know you are app queen and you know everything about apps.
My best app this week. Oh, my palms started sweating. I actually deleted a lot of apps from my phone yesterday. So
wow.
My best app is going to have to be Drafts. It used to be Drafts 4, I think it is, but it's basically on my phone when I'm searching around the webs, the interwebs as they call it. It's a real good way of capturing different bits of information. So basically, if I'm reading something, I can highlight it and share it to draft and then append to it, because there's nothing worse than having lots of different notes. So for example, Evernote, you could send something to Evernote, then you see something else and you send it to Evernote. But if I'm researching something like SSL certificate, I can browse around and just keep on appending it to Drafts. So that's something I've been using a lot this week, but I've had it for a while. But yeah, you put me on the spot there, because there's so many. I've got some video ones, and then I've got my photography. But right now, this is what's helping me the most with my research.
Cool. So I am not an app queen.
No.
I'm not an app queen. My app is like a piece of paper and a pen and my brain. I know. So
which is your favorite one out of those 3 apps then?
My brain probably, but it gets a bit overused. No, I do like some apps, but I see a lot of writers use apps all the time and say how great they are, like the Hemingway app and Grammarly. Obviously I do use plagiarism apps to check things, and I do use Grammarly from time to time, but I don't rely on them, because I worry if I rely on them, then I just, I like to keep my brain ticking over.
I like telling Grammarly to bog off when it tells me that this sentence is fragmented. I'm like, yeah, that's how we think sometimes when we're reading it. Just makes sense. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, okay. So Tara, have you got any news? What are you doing? What are you offering? Have you got anything you'd like to say this week about what you've been up to?
Well, a couple of things. Well, 2 things, just 2 things. But one, I am, thanks to you, I'm getting more involved on LinkedIn. So definitely, send me a contact request on LinkedIn. I'm Tara Tomiko there. And I'm starting to offer more of the free clarity calls that I do. I did one this week with a graphic designer, and that worked out quite well because I've managed to convince her to move off of Wix and go on to WordPress. It's totally free for the first 15 minutes. And if you're good to go, which you probably will be, then that's, it's perfect. It's great for me because I like speaking to people. And what about yourself? What are you up to?
I'm still, I'm still writing my NLP inspired copywriting course. That'll be my second course. And of course, I've still got my utterly compelling email copywriter course, which is still on discount until it goes up to its original cost. So at the moment, it's only $99, which, as you know, Tara, is very reasonably priced. You're on the course.
It's a steal.
So it's for anybody who wants to use storytelling in their copywriting, anecdotal stories. I teach you how to do that. So, and plus it has all the nuts and bolts about email marketing and that kind of thing. So check it out. Yeah. So that's, I think that's enough from us for today for the Antisocial Chat Show. So it's goodbye from me.
And ciao, ciao from me. Bye.